it does not defeat us. If anything, it strengthens our resolve.
After violent clashes at UCLA overnight, pro-Palestinian demonstrators insist they are not giving up. Good evening. Welcome to West Coast Wrap. I'm Alex Savage. UCLA leaders say they are doing a thorough investigation into that campus brawl overnight. It went on for hours before police finally moved in and separated pro-Palestinian demonstrators and counter-protesters. Let's give you a live look tonight at the crowds gathered on that campus. Even though classes were canceled today at UCLA, hundreds of protesters and counter-protesters have been there at the campus throughout the day. We begin our coverage on protests over the conflict in the Middle East tonight with Fox 11's Matthew Seedorf, who has more on how this heated debate is playing out at UCLA.
Pro-Palestinian demonstrators Wednesday at UCLA possibly preparing for more conflict.
Is that a shield? I mean, you know, we're not going to answer any questions.
Umbrellas and helmets being carried into their camp while mobile barricades are set up nearby.
Hey, we're not going to talk next.
Why Fox? Why not?
We're really busy today, so we're just prioritizing.
Demonstrators wouldn't speak with Fox 11 but held a press conference Wednesday.
Law enforcement simply stood at the edge of the lawn and refused to budge as we screamed for their help.
Organizers suggesting police should have intervened quicker during clashes Tuesday night with counter-protesters, which contradicts the group's list of demands, which includes to abolish policing.
Campus safety left within minutes. External security the university hired for backup watched, filmed, and laughed on the side as the immediate danger inflicted upon us escalated.
Fireworks and bear spray used between the two sides, some people beaten with no law enforcement around. Hours later, pro-Israeli protesters cheer as authorities walk in.
I've come here every day, you've been here. We've known that this was going to escalate to what last night was.
Now, university police join private security closing portions of campus, while California Highway Patrol, Beverly Hills PD, and LAPD are all here, some on top of roofs. Skyfox above as LA County Sheriff's deputies line up their vehicles close to the camp in.
This is what crowds look like. This is what a crowd. The circus is right here.
Protesters and counter-protesters outside the camp Wednesday disagreeing with the police response.
I don't know how they could go to bed last night not thinking we have to stop this before someone potentially gets killed.
Would you have preferred that police didn't show up last night, or what do you mean? I'm sorry. Yeah.
It is completely right for people to stand up, put their bodies on the line, put their futures on the line, risk their future careers to stop a crime against humanity.
LA Mayor Karen Bass tells Fox 11 LAPD is supporting regional law enforcement on next steps to ensure our students and campus are safe. There must be a full investigation into what occurred on campus last night. While UCLA's chancellor says we are also carefully examining our own security processes. This is a dark chapter in our campus's history. We will restore a safe learning environment at UCLA.
And that was Fox 11's Matthew Seedorf reporting tonight from Los Angeles. California Governor Gavin Newsom issued a statement on the situation at UCLA, calling the campus law enforcement response, quote, limited, delayed, and unacceptable. He said, quote, as soon as it became clear that the state assistance was needed to support a local response, our office immediately deployed CHP personnel to campus. He also stressed the right to free speech does not extend to inciting violence, vandalism, or lawlessness on campus. In Las Vegas, students at UNLV are joining this growing movement with a new protest of their own. Dozens of pro-Palestinian protesters and counter-protesters gathered on the Las Vegas campus this afternoon. The overall tone from both sides was peaceful.
Do yourself a favor and pick up a book. Pick up a book and you'll see that it's not the Jews, it's not the Israelis, and there are so many Arab Israelis, by the way. It's not them that you're trying to fight. You should be trying to fight Hamas.
I feel like there should be a free Palestine, but there should be also a little bit of a two-state solution. Like nobody will have their problem solved if they don't agree with themselves, but I feel like it's not going to really happen.
So far, the demonstrations at UNLV don't appear to be disrupting student life on that campus. Graduation ceremonies are still set for next week. School leaders at Portland State University in Oregon say their campus will reopen tomorrow after several days of protests. As Fox 12's Connor McCarthy reports tonight, authorities are still trying to de-escalate an occupation inside the school's library.
Day 3 of pro-Palestinian protests, and David Rovics is playing music outside of the barricaded Miller Library on Portland State University's campus.
As a cultural worker, as a musician, in a situation like an occupation like this, is to provide entertainment.
Rovics says he wrote songs supporting the Free Palestine movement and says he supports the protest happening on PSU's campus.
I write songs about popular struggles, about the struggle between the haves and the have-nots in the world, and that very much includes the struggle of the Palestinian people. I've been writing on that subject for 24 years, and I'm of Jewish Northeastern extraction, so for me, being raised partially by Holocaust survivors, it's the whole thing is very close to my heart.
As Rovics plays music outside of the library, on the inside, protesters remain, dug in, unwilling to leave until their demands are met. I tried again to talk to someone on the inside or get access to see the condition of the library, but I was turned away by the protesters at the front. According to a campus-wide email sent to the student body, University President Ann Cudd says around 1:30 a.m. Wednesday morning, 50 students left the library. This after a failed attempt by Cudd to get students to sign an agreement to get all of the student protesters to vacate with no change to their student status and the school not filing criminal charges. In an Instagram post by the protesters, they say no one left. Cudd says the university is continuing to work on scholarships related to Palestine and PSU's race and ethnic studies requirement. She will also attempt to meet with student leaders on May 17th, but later on in the afternoon, that date has now been postponed. Now she wants to discuss what more the university can do to promote peace, this after a failed attempt by Cudd to get protesters to sign an agreement. But protesters say that's not good enough. So the standoff continues, and community members like Cyrus Alexander continue to come by to have a look for themselves.
They need to protest, but in better ways and everybody needs to go to school. And it's sad that people that don't even go to the school are doing something like this that has nothing to do with really protesting.
Alexander is hoping to follow in his grandparents' footsteps and become a student at PSU. He doesn't agree with how far the protests have gone.
Just doesn't feel like this is really doing anything other than it's kind of about them, and they don't even go to the school. I don't know why they have to lock down and vandalize stuff just to get a point across. There's other ways to do this.
And that was Fox 12's Connor McCarthy reporting for us tonight. Some Palestinians in the Gaza Strip are sharing gratitude for the support they're receiving from these campus protests. Many hung up signs around their camp thanking various schools for their solidarity. The protests first began at Columbia University in New York and then spread across the United States and overseas to Europe and Canada. 6 people charged in connection with a protest that blocked a freeway in Seattle say they are not guilty. According to the Seattle Times, those suspects showed up in court today for their arraignments. Investigators say they were all involved in January's pro-Palestinian protest that included an illegal takeover of Interstate 5. 5 of the suspects have been charged with criminal trespassing and disorderly conduct. One person is facing only a disorderly conduct charge. All of those charges are misdemeanors. If they're convicted, the suspects could face 90 days in jail or a $1,000 fine. They're all expected back in court in June and July. Arizona lawmakers are on track tonight to undo that state's near total ban on abortion. Today, the state Senate passed a bill to repeal the ban that is set to take effect in June. While Governor Katie Hobbs is expected to sign it, Fox 10's Brian Webb reports the ban will still likely take effect, at least for a limited time.
Senate Republicans complained about getting rolled today, insisting this issue was pushed through without the proper consideration or debate, but mostly upset that 2 of their own voted with the other side.
I want to protect our state constitution.
Shouts coming from the balcony, at least 3 pro-life activists escorted out, but most of the fireworks came from the Senate floor.
What right do we have to ask God to bless America if we turn against our founding principles and say that we don't believe in the right for a child to be born?
The people that are making this argument are grasping for straws. There is no defense for the territorial ban. So that's all that's left is this is a false narrative that this was signed in 1977 by a Democratic governor.
One by one, Republicans explained why they want to keep the 1864 law, reading Bible verses, calling abortion murder, playing a recording of a child's heartbeat in the womb, and insisting rape and incest are not sufficient reasons.
I have compassion for a woman who's been raped or incest. I have compassion for that. But I cannot go against my core value of life.
Republicans T.J. Shope and Shauna Bollock voted with Democrats. Bollock told several stories of difficult pregnancies and a miscarriage, personal accounts to show all pregnancies are not the same.
Many women don't have textbook pregnancies, while many women wish they could have a baby. I know the chronicles of these pregnancies quite intimately because they're all my own. And my family lived and survived each one of them, including my miscarriage.
The final vote count was 16-14, but this issue is far from finished in Arizona. Both Republicans and Democrats plan to put the abortion issue on the November ballot. At the state capitol, I'm Brian Webb, Fox 10 News.
Coming up tonight here on West Coast Wrap, traffic cameras in Washington capture a car slamming into a light pole. How police are using this video to try to deter dangerous street races. Also, over the past few years, we've heard a lot about a mass exodus from California. We'll take a closer look tonight at one set of numbers that suggest that trend may be slowing.
And in weather, here's our live camera in Phoenix. A current temperature of 89 degrees. Some parts of the West Coast, we could be talking about a cool down and maybe some rain chances by the weekend. We'll have the update coming up.
All right, a little bobble right there on the camera showing the moment an earthquake hit Southern California this afternoon. That quake rattled the Angels-Phillies game at Angels Stadium in Anaheim. It was a magnitude 4.1 quake. It was felt across a very wide area, but the Orange County Fire Department says there were no reports of any damage or injuries. The USGS says the quake struck at 1:49 this afternoon. It was centered southeast of Los Angeles in the Santa Ana Mountains between the cities of Santa Ana and Corona. Well, it is the 1st of May, making this May Day across the country, and many groups who traditionally use this day to call attention to the rights of workers are showing solidarity with Palestinians by bringing attention to the war in Gaza. Palestinian flags could be seen in the May Day crowds marching throughout the Bay Area this afternoon.
What do we want? Fair contract! When do we want them? Now!
At the University of Washington in Seattle, student academic workers are on day 2 of their strike. It includes undergraduate and graduate teachers, assistants, researchers, and graders. The union says they have agreement on 30 out of 37 articles in their draft contract, but compensation and health care are not among them.
They're also proposing to cut back on health care. So right now, all of our premiums are covered, but their current proposals have us paying at least $1,000 for health care for the same amount of coverage without any benefits. We also think that's unacceptable, and we think, frankly, that that's an attack on the ASC's health and well-being that makes this university run.
Their contract was supposed to expire at midnight, but the union says they've agreed to extend it until Friday. That's when they'll meet with the university for another bargaining session. Cameras set up to monitor traffic in Bellevue, Washington, captured some disturbing images of a street race. Police released this video showing 2 cars racing down what appears to be a rain-soaked street last week. At one point, one of those drivers loses control and the car crashes into a light pole. Fortunately, there were no serious injuries in that crash. Police are hoping this video will discourage drivers from pulling off dangerous stunts like this. Investigators say the driver who crashed is going to be charged with reckless driving. Washington State's Department of Transportation is starting to test out drones as a way to cover hard-to-reach graffiti. The drones use spray nozzles that are linked to a paint supply that's on the ground. Operators can change the drone's position anywhere the hose allows them to reach. The department is hoping that these will make it easier to address graffiti on bridges and overpasses. Last year, maintenance crews in Washington spent over $815,000 just removing graffiti. Employees of a Denver utility company are channeling their inner Backstreet Boys in a creative effort to convince customers to conserve water over the hot summer months. Have a look. Denver water employees posted that parody on YouTube, of course, reworking the lyrics to one of the Backstreet Boys' biggest hits. They call themselves the Splash Street Boys, and this song offers guidance for water conservation as the temperatures start to warm up in Colorado. This message is really resonating with a lot of people on social media. This video has racked up thousands of views since it first debuted yesterday. First of all, Mark, they sound fantastic, but of course they have a really important message about water conservation. That's a really creative way to do it. They
nailed it, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I probably watched it about 3 or 4 times. And, you know, we have these messages about drought, and we kind of hear it over and over again. So
it kind of goes in one ear and out the other sometimes, I think, for a lot of people. But this sticks with you.
Anything with the Backstreet Boys can never fail, right?
There you go.
So, So, great message there. In fact, we'll begin with the drought update across parts of the West. As you can see, not much to report in California. Some areas reporting abnormally dry conditions, including portions of Colorado, and some areas reporting some moderate drought, as you can see, with just a little bit of a light shading there showing up on the West Coast map. Here is the satellite and the radar, as you can see up in the Pacific Northwest. Right now, we have some clouds streaming in, some rain showers trying to approach portions of Oregon and the Washington coastline right now. This was a scene in Seattle today with some sunshine, some clouds, a high today still on the cool side in the upper 50s, 58 degrees. And then in San Francisco, lots of sunshine, a beautiful day, temperatures in the upper 60s. So the Bay Area has been warmed up nicely over the past couple days, even some 70s and a few spots right around 80 degrees. And then down in Southern California, nearby Los Angeles, well, this is Santa Monica, but nearby Los Angeles showing a high of 72 degrees, so mild weather pattern in Southern California. So current numbers right now, it's 58 degrees in Portland. Denver is 48, Phoenix 89, and Las Vegas checking in the lower 80s. Here's a setup for tomorrow. Some sunshine returning to Seattle, more sunshine, a warm forecast for San Francisco. Sunny and warm to the south and out toward Denver. They are expecting partly sunny skies with about a 20% chance of some showers for tomorrow. But what's interesting is the weather pattern will change into the weekend. In places like San Francisco, we could be talking about rainfall making a comeback by Saturday, even a slight chance down in Southern California. In Phoenix for tomorrow, nothing but sunshine. Temperatures, as you can see, eventually trending up in the upper 80s to the lower 90s. So not extremely hot, but still warming up to the 90-degree mark for tomorrow. Here is the forecast model, as you can see, and we could be talking about some rain in portions of Oregon for tomorrow, but then a sun cloud mix for Seattle. It is nice, as you can see, for San Francisco, closer to Las Vegas, Los Angeles, and in the Phoenix area. So here is the plan over the next several days. The chance of some rain for Seattle, and those rain chances will be going up for Saturday. As you can pick out for California, it's a quiet to weather pattern for San Francisco and Los Angeles. In Phoenix, temperatures trending back up, 92 to 94 to 96 degrees, and it looks like an unsettled pattern, at least out toward Denver, with the possibility of some showers with partly cloudy skies. So some areas heating up, and then some areas by the weekend, Alex, we could be talking about some rainfall, especially moving into Northern California.
Yeah, got to get ready for a little storm. All right, Mark, thank you. Coming up tonight here on West Coast Wrap, it's a new reality in the trend of people moving out of California. We'll show you how this is affecting 2 states here in the West. Plus, a lot of buzz around a Major League Baseball game in Arizona, the unexpected visitors that delayed first pitch. Harvey Weinstein appeared in Manhattan court for the first time today after his rape conviction was overturned. Prosecutors are looking for a retrial of the rape case. Last week, a court overturned his conviction, saying a trial judge should not have permitted the jurors to see and hear testimony that wasn't directly related to the charges he was facing. A new trial appears to be set for sometime after Labor Day, with a May 29th pretrial court date. Researchers at UNLV are tracking a slowdown in the number of Californians moving to Nevada. Record numbers of California residents made that move during the pandemic, but now those rates are dropping. Fox 5's Jacqueline Schultz is in Las Vegas tonight with more on these migration patterns.
People started bailing out of California left and right. We saw a huge boom during the lockdown for about 2 years. We saw a big drop recently.
From more cars on the road to new neighbors moving in, locals see the surge in Californians. Moving company Muscle Movers has lived it. Starting in 2020, phones were ringing off the hook for California residents that needed a moving truck stat to relocate to Las Vegas or elsewhere in Nevada. They have noticed a trend in real time that UNLV researchers are tracking. The number of Californians moving here keeps dropping.
This last winter, it was worse than the crash of 06-07. It's gotten a lot better now recently.
UNLV School of Business researchers track the numbers through people surrendering licenses from the DMV. Most transplants come from California. The number of Californians moving across Nevada soared from 2020 to 2022. But for the past 2 years, it's dropped. Most Californians choose to relocate to Las Vegas or Clark County, and local data shows the same decline. The biggest reason, according to Professor Stephen Miller, mortgage rates. A home in Vegas is just not as affordable.
A lot of people have low mortgage interest rate loans, so that their monthly payment is pretty low. They couldn't match that in the current market.
Miller notes, though housing is far more affordable in Las Vegas than LA, many people simply want to wait for rates to go down. Another factor, a corporate pivot to end many work-from-home opportunities, limits options where people can move. He also says people are exploring other options, and many Californians and Nevadans are looking past Las Vegas to Texas instead. Muscle Movers sees it too.
The people that we move out of California are moving to Texas, Tennessee, Florida, Carolinas, and Georgia.
Jacqueline Schultz, Fox 5 News, local Las Vegas.
Nation is hitting the high seas. The team is coordinating its first ever Raiders fan cruise to Mexico. This 7-day trip on the Norwegian Bliss will set sail from the port of Los Angeles in March of next year. Cruise organizers intend to cater to Raiders fans with interactive football-themed events. The ship will make stops in Cabo San Lucas, Ensenada, Mazatlan, and Puerto Vallarta. The tickets start at $2,400 per fan. Finally tonight, an unusual hero saved the day for baseball fans in Arizona. A swarm of bees took the field right before the start of yesterday's Diamondbacks-Dodgers game at Chase Field in Phoenix. And they made themselves right at home on the net just above home plate, and that delayed the game for almost 2 hours. Finally, you can see him. A beekeeper moved in and cleared out that hive. Fans chanted MVP as the beekeeper threw the ceremonial first pitch. All that buzz helped the Diamondbacks beat the Dodgers 4-3 in that game. The collectible card company Topps says that beekeeper is going to be getting his own trading card, and he certainly does deserve that after his work last night taking care of those bees at the ballpark. That does it for West Coast Wrap. We appreciate you watching as always. You can stay up to date on all the stories we're covering at westcoastwrap.com. Have a great night.